All right, I'm gonna jump back onto the power steering for the Jeep. I gotta run new hoses. I had the PSC power steering on it before, but I had to change the reservoir now that I'm going to Hydroboost brakes. I needed an additional return line, and the one they sell in the kit for the Jeep JK only has provisions for one. I needed return from the Hydroboost and a return from my power steering. So now today I'm gonna run new lines. I got my cooler down here. I remounted that below. I used to have it up here, but I'm gonna put a big transmission cooler in its place. And down here, it's kind of tucked out of the way, and it'll serve its purpose, get enough airflow for power steering down here. I just have to reroute lines. I'm gonna take the return line off of here, come up behind this tube and up through this hole into the reservoir. This one I'm going to come off. I haven't decided if I'm coming out here or going to come up here, and that's going to go from the steering gearbox. Then after that, I'm going to take this whole front clip off again, and I'm going to run my high pressure lines. Got to get a high pressure line going from my steering pump up to the Hydroboost up here. Then from the Hydroboost down to the steering gearbox. And then I got another return line, a low pressure line that I started here, coming from the Hydroboost back to the reservoir. I can't mount this yet, so nothing will be permanently fixed. I just need to make a bracket for this, but I'm waiting for an electrician to come out so I can get my press brake up and running. And I got a plasma table over there, so once I can have 220 power in my garage, I can actually get all this done. So for now, just going to work on the little things I can. I don't need this permanently mounted. It's going to sit in this place. I'm going to make sure it sits right here. Everything else I can run, have finalized, and then start working on other aspects of this. It just gets one more thing off the list. So that's all my low pressure lines. Next, I'm going to take the core support off so I can get to my high pressure lines. I have to get down in there behind the power steering pump in order to run my lines. I need to run one from the power steering pump up here, then from my output on my brake booster down to this fitting right here. So that's what I'll do next. Oops. So I got my low pressure lines all ran on this side. I'm going to put a zip tie to hold that up out of the way so it's not rubbing on anything. This side, I'll probably clamp it directly to the frame. I'll just use a self-tapping screw or something with that hose clamp I have. Everything else, I just zip tie it up. That's plenty good for what it is. Back when I raced a four-wheeler, I zip tied everything together that was not critical. Saves weight, it's easy, zip ties are cheap. So I'm doing the same thing in a Jeep. All right, next thing I need to work on is I need to install a new power steering pump pulley. Ended up having to go down a size in order to clear the steering gearbox. There is not much room, and even this one, it's going to be tight in order to fit it on there. But this one's a two-piece design, so I can put the hub on first, then bolt the power steering pulley on. Hopefully I don't have to grind it all on here, but if I do, it'll add a little clearance without affecting much of anything. It's probably the best tool you can use for removing or installing these. The one thing you really don't want to do is you don't want to just pound them on with a hammer. You'll mess up the pump. So get this tool, it's well worth it. Here's one trick I always used when I raced a four-wheeler. If I got a hose that I don't want rubbing up against a piece of metal, I just take and cut a little piece of fuel line, use a zip tie, send the zip tie through the fuel line. I'll go through the hole in the frame, back through the zip tie, and then I'll just put it around the hose. That keeps it nice and tight there. It's not going to go anywhere. I'll be able to hook it to my cooler and it won't rub up against this piece of metal or the bracket down here. Real simple trick. I love using it. All right, putting this pulley on. I still do not have much of any room in there. It clears, but that's about a 1/16 of an inch. Can't really see it on here. So I think what I'm going to do is see if I can take the whole engine, kick the back over to the driver's side just a little bit, and hopefully it pulls it away from the steering gearbox a little. Otherwise, I'm going to have to grind that away or see if I can move the whole engine over about 1/8 of an inch. It's not going to take much. I don't need much clearance, but that's just not enough for me to be comfortable. Well, I ended up taking the engine back out. I need to slide it back about 3/4 of an inch, but to do that, I have to cut this away. So I'm going to end up having to remake the motor mounts. The kit I bought isn't going to work. I need to keep these front holes, but I can remake that somehow. That's not a big deal. So I'm probably gonna order the builder's kit from TMR so I can just cut all this away, bolt new engine mounts up to the frame, weld something to, or bolt new motor mounts up to the engine, build new mounts to go to the frame instead of using these here, which I'm not a big fan of these slotted engine mounts anyways. So I'd rather just have 4 holes in it instead of 4 slots. So not going to use these. The TMR ones are a lot beefier anyways. And the problem is right here, this hits, and as you can see when I tried sliding it back, I ended up breaking this this connector. So that's no fun. I really was hoping not to do that. I don't know if I need that connector or not even. I have another AC compressor that does not have that. So hopefully I can just use that one for now instead of having to buy a brand new one. I'll just have to pop my fittings off, stick it on the new one. So got the engine out again. It's gonna sit here until I can get those new motor mounts. So once I can get that, then I'll cut this off and do all that work. So it's coming along. Just takes time. Sometimes you have to take a step backwards to keep going forward. That's all this is. But for now, I'm calling it a day. Well, after trying to get an electrician out here for 2 months, I finally just decided it was time to do it myself. So I've spent the last couple weeks, ended up wiring my whole garage. Got electrical for everything, so now I got my plasma table running. I got my CNC press brake running, air compressor, ran all my air lines, and just finished up with that. So my garage is still a mess from it, but at least now I can start putting everything in place and getting organized again and actually use my equipment. Spent yesterday messing around with my plasma table and CNC press brake, made a couple parts. Made a PSC Hydroboost reservoir mount. I got the vent on here, nothing's tight. I gotta take it off and paint it. So I didn't want to tighten anything up. I got these flange nuts that are a crush lock style, so I didn't want to tighten them yet. I actually made one of these for my 84 GMC as well. So I'll be changing out the one I just welded together. Ended up working on the second design of my Hydroboost swap kit for the JK. I got to remake this plate. I just got to recut it. I got it all ready to go in sheet cam. Then this Hydroboost setup will go in there and hopefully be done for the final time. I just got to reroute my lines to the Hydroboost. The Hydroboost will sit down in this area. It actually all fits without cutting this out, but I just decided to cut it because I'm not using any of that anyways, so may as well get it out of the way and just make life easier. So that's up to the end user if they want to actually cut that away or not. Once you move the ABS unit, that back part isn't needed, so you may as well just get rid of it. So now today, to make some progress, I'm going to weld up these new motor mounts. I tried some bolt-in ones that went off of the JK frame, but that's not going to work. It's not going to clear the air conditioning compressor. So I decided to go with these TMR ones, and I'll just redo everything. These will be much tighter setup. So today, to make some progress on this, I'm just going to take and weld these up real quick and bolt them up to the engine and go from there. I got a few things buttoned up on the engine. Got this all installed, my whole bracket. I'm gonna try and actually manufacture this and sell it eventually. That's my whole game plan there. It's a really slick setup. I installed the TMR motor mounts onto the block, and I put the transfer case adapter on the back. I still got a couple things to do to the engine before I can drop it in, nothing major. Next step really, I need to come up here and I need to cut off these factory motor mounts, the brackets, get them cut off, and then I'll be able to drop in the engine and make the rest of my mounts. I got some square tubing, I got the other half of the TMR mount that I'll make the frame side bracket, make a gusset for it, and get it permanently mounted, then make the transfer case adapter mount. Once I get it all put in place, that won't be too much. I'll just design something up on paper and then throw it on the plasma table and get it welded up to my cross member down there. Hopefully I can get out tomorrow after work and do a little bit more, but you know, at some point this week, that's going to be my next steps. I really want, by the end of the week, I want this engine sitting in place, permanently mounted, so I can start working on everything else. There's a lot to do yet. I'm putting myself on a deadline to get it done. I want it drivable in about a month from now, so I can actually get some test driving in and then actually plan a trip with it. Right now it's tough to plan anything because the vehicle is not running and there's a few other things I need to order. Hopefully there isn't any other major snags like the transfer case, but if there is, I'll figure out a way through it. Doing this adapter isn't what I wanted to do, but for now it's a choice I'm stuck with. So I'll get that all put in, keep the factory one. I gotta order a new transfer case shift cable because the other one, the end broke off on me. Not a big deal. I still got to make a bracket for the shifter to work, for the stock JK shifter to work with the 4L80 transmission, and I'll need to make a bracket for the shift cable to go to the transfer case, but that's not a very big deal. Pretty simple project to do, and I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But for now, I'm calling it a night. It's time for me to go in, clean up and eat, and take the dog out. Thanks for watching.